Hi, this is Tanya from Love Buddha Tarot, back with the card of today for the 6th of September 2016. Right, okay, these energies are absolutely crazy. I don't know how many of you are feeling them. Please get in touch and let me know. Yesterday there was quite a lot of tension and a lot of anxiousness. I went to bed about tea time and I went and I had a salt bath and I just had to take some time in stillness, done some very deep meditations, and there was a lot of magic in the air. I got a text message of a friend of mine who's, I call my soul sister, with the most bizarre message, but that totally fit in with what I've been asking. So there's, whatever the confusion and everything that's going on at the moment, please remember that there's so much magic out there as well, because the synchronicities are absolutely crazy. If anybody is experiencing them as well, please let me know, because it's actually quite laughable. But anyway, back to the cards of today. We're nearly there as well, after the ninth, it's getting a little bit better, so we've just gotta hang in there. Right, funny enough, we've just gotta hang in there. Today's card is the Hanged Man. Right. Now, this really, really made me smile, because I've been channeling quite a lot. I've been asking for a lot of answers, and I've been getting them, and it really, really ties in with this. We're basically suspended at the moment. What is happening this month is we are suspended between our ego and our soul. And this is where the battle is coming in. And this is where it's causing like chaos and stuff like that, but there can be if we look at like sort of the chaos theory and chaos magic and stuff like that, we need the dark and the light. We need this, in order to survive, really, but in order to see things clearly, so like I say, it's not as bad, even though it is uncomfortable. So at the moment, there's this transition between, right, okay, am I going to work on my ego level, which is what I've been working on, or am I going to work from my soul? So, like I say, this is what the Hanged Man is saying. Now, within tarot, I'm going a little bit more into the Fool's Journey at the moment as well, because some people have said that it's quite interesting and they like it. So what happens when the Fool, like I say, meets all of these archetypes along the way? And what he does is he goes to this tree intent on finding his spiritual self, okay? He stays there for 9 days, right? Now, like I've said, the 9th, September the 9th, there's going to be a shift. I feel it. I got told it last night as well. But he's there and he's barely moving, And on the 9th day, what he does is he consciously climbs the tree, and he dangles like a child upside down from it. And what he is doing in that moment, he is surrendering, He is surrendering. The money falls out. In some cards, the money's falling out his pockets and everything. He's not seeing them as money. They're just round bits of metal. So it's like his perception on the world has completely changed. Within Kundalini Yoga, they say if you want to see things differently, stand on your head, because then this is when the blood flows and, we can get a new perspective on things as well. So what he's done is he's allowed himself to just dangle there, to just be suspended between these two worlds as well. So he's able to see both. And this is like, it's sort of like quite dreamlike. And it's like things are become crystal clear to him, with this as well. So because he's timeless, because he's in this stillness for a second, this is when everything can be sorted out as well. The thing is with this, once you have seen this way, once you have seen how things are this way, you can't go back and unsee. This is what I say a lot within a spiritual awakening. We can try to go back to sleep, but once we are awake, we cannot do that. And at the moment, I don't know if any of you are having trouble sleeping or having crazy dreams or whatever. Our soul is wide awake. There's a couple of articles I was reading yesterday. I'm actually going to put the links in the comments. I'll put the links in there because they're very interesting explaining the energies here. But like I say, he's just got to be there. He's an observer at the moment. Now, what I always think when I see the Hanged Man as well, which is quite interesting, is it's often depicted as like a baby, you know, in the womb, because obviously he's hanging like the umbilical cord. Now the card that comes after this in the tarot is the death card. So this is the rebirth again. This is the rebirth that we've been talking about. So he's going through this period, and then, you know, the old him, the ego him, will die, and the soul him will be reborn, you know. So this is just, it's a stage before, you know, I keep saying you're almost there. And this is what's happening with this as well. You know, things are going to be coming clear. Solutions are going to be found. If we have a look here, can you see all of the light that's actually illuminating his head? He's enlightened. He knows, you know. The blue on his top here, you know, that's all about. Blue is about truth. It's your throat chakra. It's about speaking your truth, you know. But because it's on its body, his body is like, right, okay, you know, I'm now going to live my truth. And the red is security. If we have a look there as well, that looks like a number 4, and 4 is always secure. If you think there's like 4 walls, you know, 4 legs to a chair. So once he turns himself round, he has the security there, he has the living in his truth, and he has the enlightenment. What more does he need, you know? So like I say, this a lot of people think this is a card of stuck. It is a card of being in limbo, okay? But the limbo is like, if you surrender, you will hear the answers. You will know your truth, and you will know your next move. But, you know, if we have a look, he's not hanging by his neck. So, you know, this is saying don't panic, you know, don't panic. He's hanging by his foot. He's just chilling there, you know. So like I say, there is conflicting thoughts come in with this, and the Osho cards that I have as well, 2 came out today, and they speak about that. So I'll go into that a little bit more with them too. So there is indecision around at the moment, you know, and you are at a crossroads and you are feeling stuck. But it's like, this is telling you to go inwardly. This is where you will find your answers. It's like, I'm getting their spirit of saying what you need to ask yourself, the questions you need to ask is, who are you and what is it you want? Because the second, ask yourself them questions and you will get the answers there. You know, the only person really putting pressure on yourself here is you. So like I say, you know, there's there's a desire within this. Like I say, the fool goes there to find his spiritual self. The only thing with this card though is, like I say, he has this desire, you know, to find out who he is, you know, who he really is. And what happens is with the hanged man has to sacrifice who he was in order to move forward and in order to have this rebirth. So it does mean giving something up, and it means giving something up from the past. But in doing so, he is gaining so much more. You know, he is gaining this enlightenment, this truth, you know, and this security as well. So it's like turning his world completely 180. But, you know, that making so much more sense as well. Because like I say, you know, he's awakened now. So he kind of go back to what he was. So at the moment, he's like, he hasn't gone forward into what he is. So this is where the limbo comes in, you know. So like I say, this is a card of surrender. Now, I mentioned that I'd been getting some stuff about surrender the other day. I'd been given some stuff by Spirit, and what they said was surrender basically means to stop fighting. Stop fighting with yourself, stop fighting with the universe, and, you know, and stop fighting with the natural flow of things. Stop resisting and pushing against, because this is where the struggle comes in. When we resist, this is where the struggle comes in as well. Or when we try and make something fit, you know, this is where the struggle comes in. If you imagine you're in a boat and you're sort of rowing against the tide, you know, it's going to be hard work. Your arms are going to get tired, you know. If you just drop them oars and float to where you are naturally going, you know, you're going to enjoy the ride. I once done it in Thailand. I was on this little rubber ring and floated down the full river, you know, for about 3-4 hours. And it was, if I had tried to go the other way, you know, it would have been a problem. But this was like, it was such an amazing, beautiful, peaceful experience as well. So this card is, like I say, it's about surrender. And what I find is interesting as well is there's a delicate balance between intention and surrender. But you think, any of you that are artists, this is what we have to go through before we start to create. You know, this is it. We don't know what's going to happen. You know, we have this idea and then we start and we put our creativity into it, and then suddenly it becomes this beautiful painting, this amazing sculpture, this fabulous song, you know, but we just relax into it. You know, that's what we do. Now, there's, like I say, these solar eclipses have been really, really mad, really. But you know, there's I was reading last night that they're basically about getting your ducks in the row, you know, getting everything lined up, and about being real as well. That was one of the things that I got through last night. You know, just be real, have faith and have focus here. I was listening to some Esther Hicks stuff last night, and you know, Esther Hicks, most of you'll know her. She's amazing, you know. And she was talking about when we are in, she calls it the vortex, when we are connected, when we are in the vortex, and the happiness that we feel, you know. It's like electric. It's like an electric current coming through us, and you know, we are eager, we are joyful, we have our desires. You know, we know that something good is coming. We know it. We feel it. You know, and you always feel it. You know, you feel it before it's coming. The second you switch from that receptive to resilient, this is when it's like the lights turn out. You know, you don't feel good, you worry, you have your fear, you know, all of this. And it's because we're switching from soul to ego again. And this is what the problem is. You know, our soul is our friend. Our ego is our false friend. You know, them cards yesterday about guilt and things like that, they were all ego based, you know. And when we are in our egoic mind, this is when we are in turmoil, you know. So the thing is, it's drop the ego, and he has to make this choice here. Does he stay with his ego, or does he go forward with his soul? So that is the hangman there. So I really like that. There's a lovely energy coming through with this as well. There really is. And like I say, I went to pull the Osho cards, and two fell out. So it was quite interesting, the two of them together as well. The first one that came out is this. Not a nice card at all, you know. Definitely an ego card. This is the mind, you know, very similar to that the guilt card yesterday, you know. Now, when you look at this image, you just get a feeling of uneasiness and anxiety. Definitely ego, you know. That's how you can check in. Do you feel good? It's your soul. Do you feel bad? It's your ego, you know. So this is what happens when we forget that our mind is our servant. You know, we're not meant to serve this. We are in control of our thoughts, you know. But the second we allow our egoic mind to take over, you know, if we give it that little bit of freedom, it snatches in, it's sneaky, and it stirs up trouble, you know. Now look at that, the figure in that head, you know. It's filled with mechanisms. It's cold, it's rigid, you know. There's nothing gentle going on there. You know, look at even the eyes. The eyes have been like sort of replaced by metal discs here. And so you can only see like a narrow tunnel vision of what's going on. And one eye's completely disappeared, you know, and that is the eye that is linked to his emotions, his left eye, you know. So this is what happens when the ego comes in. The mouth is like ranting and raving there. And, you know, everything is being polluted. I mean, it is polluted, you know. And there's arguments and there's opinions and it's everything going round. And everything here looks like it's turned to stone or concrete, but the cracks have already started to appear in it. Whenever something becomes this hard, this is when it becomes brittle, you know. And when things are soft, they bend, you know, they're flexible. With this, there's not, you know, it's going to come crashing down. So this is all about our overthinking, you know, that's driving you crazy, and all of these mad scenarios that could be going in your head. I mean, if we have a look, you know, everybody knows what the tower means. How many towers are in there? You know, it's like all this could happen, that could happen, you know, and absolutely driving yourself nuts here. The reason those towers are crumbling in here is because none of them are built on truth. You know, they've all been manufactured by our ego and by our monkey mind, you know, and you are not your mind. But at the moment, it seems like you are allowing it to rule you as well. Now, just think about the thoughts that go through in your head. And if you were to sit and write them down every day, and then read them back, how like horrific they would be, the amount of rubbish that like spews out of our mind when we allowed our monkey mind to take over is just absurd, and this is what causes confusion. Our soul builds our dreams on excitement, and if we knew how powerful our thoughts were, if we really truly knew, we would never have a negative one again, because we can create this. What Esther Hicks was saying last night, we can create anything we want. We ask for it, but then when we get given it, we start to get this resilience and our ego comes in. So it's usually ask, believe, receive. So you ask, you may believe in it, or then you may doubt it. But then when you're ready to receive, you're like, oh, no, no, I'm not going to go for that. And this is where the problem comes in. You can have anything you want. You just have to be open and receptive to getting it as well, And like I say, Osho says within this, when you are clinging to this, this horrible cloud and this horrible mind space, this is your ego, and your ego is not your friend. So like I say, that would have been quite a, not a nice place to be in, if that was the only card. But like I say, spirit work in funny ways. And the card that came out next to it. And they're very similar, actually. This is what made me laugh. Can you see? They're both on about heads, but look at that head, compared to that one. That one's filled with flowers and all the colours of the chakra and everything. It's a beautiful, beautiful card, this. So this card is called maturity. And what this is saying is that you've come a long way and you now are wise. Look at him. He's got his enlightenment there. And you've seen it all. You've been through it all. But rather than growing tired and worn, when we let our ego come in like this, you are emerging strong and vibrant with this. And it's like now you stand in a position of great knowledge, and you can understand how things work. And it's time now to navigate your way through the change as well. You can do it, because there is a lot of changes coming at the minute. And at one point, this would have probably thrown you completely off kilter. But if you follow your soul and don't let this ego mind, monkey mind, actually take over, you will be able to hold firm and steady without being faltered. Again, like I've said with the hanged man, he's living in his truth. He's got his security. He's got his enlightenment. All he needs to do is just turn it around, So this card is saying, remember to be stable and remember to be centered no matter what comes your way, because if you let external forces come in, and change you internally, this is when the problems will arise. So this card also talks about us changing, maturity. We are not the person that we once were, and like I say, we can't go back to that. So this is about, allowing ourselves to bloom, allowing ourselves to blossom. I've just got there, like, allowing our fragrance to spread, our new fragrance. That's quite bizarre. But it's a beautiful, beautiful card. And if we have a look at this as well, the outside, the external seems to be cold, dead trees. But it's like he's got this protection around him, all of the chakra colors, the rainbow colors here, So this is about, it's about gifts, and it's about being aligned as well. If we have a look, he's got a lot of white coming around him. And this is his protection as well, And this is his light actually coming through. And this is what is helping him and making him grow. So it's like, everything that you have encountered has got you to this time of pretty much perfection. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. So this is talking about you being rewarded and you getting the gifts for all the hard work, and it's talking about solid successes and good fortune, they're there for you. And this is what we've been saying, your dreams and desires can now become reality. All you have to do is be receptive and allow them to come in, So it's like this card is like, it's sort of like a spiritual springtime, when everything's just, there's this newness, which also comes with the rebirth as well. And if we look, I don't think there's two cards that match as much to say ego and soul, and it's like, where would you rather live? You know, would you rather live in this horrible, industrial, dark, polluted place, or would you rather live in this beautiful, colourful nature where you're protected, where you're at peace, or, you know, that's it. It's the ego and the soul, and this is where the battle is at the moment. So, there you go. Like I say, these, I don't think I stop for breath for these. It's just all the stuff that comes coming out. But we're on the 6th now, you know, the 9th. There's changes coming on the 9th. I don't know what they are, but there is changes coming on the 9th. I was told that. And like I say, the Hanged Man isn't a scary place to be. You know, you're in limbo because you're still battling with this soul and this ego. And all you need to do is just be receptive and surrender. You know, once you surrender, then everything else will become clear. So I hope you like them cards. Please let me know if you did, and please let me know how you were all dealing with these energies at the moment, because they are pretty mad. But you know, when we take our head out of it, it's our head that allows us to think that, oh God, they're scary. You know, if we listen to our soul's telling us, don't worry, it'll be all right. You know, I've got your back. So if anybody would like a reading, please get in touch with me via Facebook or via my website. I do have availability for this week. And if people like these videos, please share them as well, you know, because it's all about spreading the love, and, you know, it's much appreciated as well. So I'll be back tomorrow with the cards of today. Satnam.